I'm here with Adam. Adam, would you say that game was the game of proverbial two halves? Because my assertion is that first half we were awful, second half we were very good.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
I like that. Yeah.
The Jekyll and Hyde that Arsenal produced.
Who was the ugly?
Yeah, good point, isn't it? The
Probably
ugly.
Mikel Mourinho.
Yeah, probably. Some of that defending in the first half was just
Shocking.
absolutely abysmal. It did sort of take me back to that 4-0 that we had here some seasons ago under Arsene Wenger, where he just sort of lost on the touchline. But I think the difference is now, obviously, we've got a team that has fight and that can come back. But I think it's a case
I'd love to know what the manager said to them after.
Yeah, true. I mean, I saw him at the end kick the air in frustration. I don't know what that was all about. Again, it's almost back to Wenger kicking the water bottle, But I think, with this team, this could have been such. If we've got a team like that with so many players out injured, how would it have been if we'd had a full squad with proper players, if we'd bought well in January, if we'd even brought a couple of loans back, just made that squad a little bit deeper, a little bit more with sort of compactness. And the fact that we didn't do that means that these games, we are a great team. When we play well, we are a great team. We can turn it around, even with guys like Mourinho up front. He's not a top-class forward, is he, by any accounts? But he's been exceeding expectations. But the thing is, they had to add to that. I think a lot of people share my opinion, and my opinion is they were just happy with top four. And everything else was a bonus. Everything else was a bonus for them. We're in a title race for a little while. It was more like a title walk for Liverpool, to be honest, this year. It was so easy for them. But I'm going to pick up on a Jose Mourinho quote. We weren't the clowns. We weren't the clowns. We could have been the clowns today. We could have come here, we could have been hammered, stuffed 4-5-0, especially given that first, 20 minutes, they were 2-0 up. We weren't the clowns, we went in at half-time, we came back, and we were better in that second half.
Yeah,
we were much, much better. They were holding on for me at the end, and it would have been such an injustice had that corner resulted in a goal at the end. But it was quite amusing that they were setting flares off, and they thought the party was starting, and, it didn't quite happen. But other than that, we don't have a huge amount to say to them, do we, at the moment? But to be honest with you, we made sure that we won a laughing stock today. It's just such a shame for me, and it will always be such a shame that we didn't navigate this season just a little bit differently. I will never understand why they didn't add. Maybe there's reasons I'm not aware of. Maybe there are dynamics in play that I just wouldn't know as a fan. But for me, it never made any sense. They were relying on Havertz. They were relying on, obviously, the team we had staying together and being strong. So there's two ways of looking at it. The first one is we've done very well with what we had. We have done very well with what we had. And the second way is, they've completely, kicked the ball down the road, so to speak, and just said...
I've got to ask you, because a lot of people have been talking about it in recent days, especially since the defeat to PSG. The manager, he's come under a lot of scrutiny, not just for the recent losses, but for the comments he made after the game, when he said that we were the better team and that we were the best team in the competition, something that I blatantly do not agree with. But I just want to ask you, there's been views expressed about the manager. Some people are saying, we need an upgrade. Some people are saying, give you one more season. Where do you stand on it?
It's a really good question, and I think it's a complicated one for me. I think Arteta out as a movement, I understand why people are very much behind it, but I also think that you have to look a little bit more closely. It's a bit more nuanced why we didn't get a striker in, why we didn't add. It sounded to me like that was more the board and the Cronkies than actually Arteta himself. It sounded like Arteta wanted upgrades, and I think there was a press conference where he came out and said we want somebody in, we wanted somebody, we're looking at all possible options. So I think it's just possibly too basic an argument to say it's all on Arteta, but I really do think, I'm not Arteta in, I'm not Arteta out. I give one more season, literally one more season, to prove that he can win a trophy, and I think if he doesn't win a trophy, you've got to be absolutely ruthless and say it's time to move to another option. But we don't want to be Man United, recycling managers every couple of seasons. We don't want to do that. But then on the other end of the stick, he's been given 5 years, and a lot of people, when I'm debating this with them, say, well, he's been given 700 million, and I mean, yes, he has, but I just think it's complicated because the ownership have to have us in the top four. They have to have us in the top four. Otherwise, the financial structure completely caves.
That's true.
So we have to be in the top four, but we don't, in their thinking, we don't have to win the league. for me as a fan, we have to win the league. We have to make sure that we are competitive in every single competition. I'm including the FA Cup and the League Cup in that. And I think next season it's a trophy or bust. No excuses.
Well said. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks,